Coming to the history of computers, as we were discussing, 1979, the first computerized spreadsheet program for personal computers was unveiled. The first IBM personal computer was introduced that used Microsoft's MS-DOS operating system. The term PC was popularized. In 1983, the first laptop was introduced. Moreover, Apple introduced Lisa as the first personal computer with a graphic user interface with drop down menus and icons. In 1985, Microsoft announced Windows as a new operating system. 1986, Compaq introduced Desk Pro 386 in the market, which was a 32-bit architecture machine that provides speed comparable to mainframes. In 1990, Tim Berners-Lee invented World Wide Web with HTML as its publishing language. 1993, the Pentium microprocessor introduced the use of graphics and music on PCs. 1994, PC games became popular. 96, Sergey Brin and Larry Page developed the Google search engine at Stanford University. 1999, the term Wi-Fi was introduced when users started connecting to the internet without wires. 2001, Apple introduced Mac OS X operating system, which had protected memory architecture and preemptive multitasking, among other benefits. To stay competitive, Microsoft launched Windows XP. 2003, the first 64-bit processor, AMD's Athlon 64, was brought into the consumer market. 2004, Mozilla released Firefox, and in the same year, Facebook, a social networking site, was launched. 2005, YouTube, a video sharing service, was launched. In the same year, Google acquired Android, a Linux based mobile phone operating system. 2006, Apple introduced MacBook Pro, its first Intel based dual core mobile computer. 2007, Apple released iPhone, which brought many computer functions in the smartphone. 2009, Microsoft launched Windows 7, in which users could pin applications to the taskbar. 2010, Apple launched iPad, which revived the tablet computer segment. 2011, Google introduced Chromebook, a laptop that runs on the Google Chrome operating system. 2015, Apple released the Apple Watch. In the same year, Microsoft launched Windows 10. And coming to the different generations of computers, there are five generation of computers. And looking at first generation, it was from 1942 to 1955. Hardware technology, first generation computers were manufactured using thousands of vacuum tubes. A vacuum tube is a device which is made of a fragile glass. Memory, electromagnetic relay was used as primary memory, and punched cards were used to store data and instructions. Software technology is like programming was done in machine or assembly language. It is used for scientific applications. Examples: ENIAC, EDVAC, EDSAC, UNIVAC 1, IBM 701 highlights. So they were the first fastest calculating device of those times. Computers were too bulky and required a complete room for storage. Highly unreliable as vacuum tubes emitted a large amount of heat and burnt frequently. So required air conditioned rooms for installation, costly, difficult to use, required constant maintenance because vacuum tubes used filaments that had limited lifetime. Therefore, these computers were prone to frequent hardware failures. So, this is an example for vacuum tube. Second generation from 1955 to 1964. Hardware technology, it's a second generation computers were manufactured using transistors. Transistors were reliable, powerful, cheaper, smaller, and cooler than vacuum tubes. Memory magnetic core Memory was used as primary memory. Magnetic tapes and magnetic disks were used to store data and instructions. These computers had faster and larger memory than the first generation computers. Software technology programming was done in high level programming languages. Batch operating system was used. So yes, it was used for scientific and commercial applications like examples Honeywell 400, IBM 7030, CDC 1604, UNIVAC Lark. So these generation computers were faster, smaller, cheaper, reliable, and easier to use than the first generation computers. They consumed one tenth the power consumed by the first generation computers. It was bulky in size and required a complete room for its installation. It dissipated less heat compared to first generation computers but still required air conditioned rooms. It was costly, difficult to use. So this figure shows the transistors that were used for second generation computers. Coming to third generation, 1964 to 1975, hardware technology. Third generation computers were manufactured using integrated chips. ICs consist of several components such as transistors, capacitors, and resistors on a single chip to avoid wired interconnections between components. These computers used SSI and MSI technology, and mini computers came into existence. It has larger magnetic core memory that was used as primary memory. Larger capacity magnetic tapes, magnetic disks were used to store data and instructions. Software technology involves programming was done in high level programming languages such as Fortran, COBOL, Pascal, and BASIC. Time sharing operating system was used. Software was separated from the hardware. This allowed users to invest only in the software they need, used for scientific, commercial, and interactive online applications. Examples are IBM 360 370, PDP-8, PADP-11, CDC 6600 highlights. And some of the highlights of this generation are faster, smaller, cheaper, reliable, and easier to use than the second generation computers. They consumed less power than second generation computers, but still it was bulky in size and required a complete room for installation, but dissipated less heat compared to the second generation computers. Still required air conditioned rooms, costly, easier to use, and upgrade. Coming to the fourth generation, hardware technology. Fourth generation computers were manufactured using ICs with large scale integrated and later with very large scale integrated technology. So, microcomputers came into existence, use of personal computers became widespread. High speed computer networks in the form of LANs, WANs, and MANs started growing. Besides mainframes, supercomputers were also used. Memory semiconductor memory was used as primary memory. Large capacity magnetic disks were used as built in secondary memory. Magnetic tapes and floppy disks were used as portable storage devices. Software technology programming was done in high level programming languages such as C and C++. Graphical user interface based operating system. Example Windows was introduced. It had icons and menus among other features to allow computers to be used as a general purpose machine by all users. Unix was also introduced as an open source operating system. Apple Mac OS and MS-DOS were also released during this period. All these operating systems had multiprocessing and multiprogramming capabilities, which is used for scientific, commercial, interactive, online, and network applications. Examples: IBM PC, Apple II, TRS-80, VAX 9000, Cray-1, Cray-2, Cray-XMP. So this is the picture for VLSI chip, which is faster, smaller, cheaper, powerful, reliable, easier to use than the previous generation computers. Coming to the fifth generation, hardware technology. Fifth generation computers are manufactured using ICs with ultra large scale integrated technology. The use of internet became widespread and very powerful mainframes, desktops, portable laptops and smartphones are being used commonly. Supercomputers use parallel processing techniques. Note it used ULSI circuits which contains about 10 million electronic components on a single chip. Memory semiconductor is used as a primary memory. Large capacity magnetic disks are used as built-in secondary memory. Magnetic tapes and floppy disks are and USB flash drives. Software technology programming is done in high-level programming languages such as Java, Python, and C Hash. Graphical user interface based operating systems such as Windows, Unix, Linux, Ubuntu, and Apple Mac are being used. So these operating systems are more powerful and user friendly than the ones available in the previous generations. This is used for scientific, commercial, interactive, online, multimedia, and network applications. Examples: IBM notebooks, Pentium PCs, some workstations, IBM SP Bar 2, Param supercomputers. Highlight and some of the highlights of this fifth generation computers are: it is faster, smaller, cheaper, powerful, reliable, and easier to use than the previous generation computers. Speed of microprocessors and the size of memory are growing rapidly. So it has high-end features available on mainframe computers in fourth generation, which are now available on the microprocessors. They consume less power than computers of prior generations. Air-conditioned rooms required for mainframes and supercomputers, but not for microprocessors. And coming to the classification of computers, computers computers can be broadly classified into four categories based on their speed, amount of data that they can process, and price. So these categories are as follows, like supercomputers, mainframe computers, mini computers, and microcomputers. We have the classification of computers here, under which we have supercomputers, mainframe computers, mini computers, microcomputers. Mini computers are again classified as dumb terminals, intelligent terminals. Microcomputers are again classified into so many variations like desktop, PC, laptops, handheld devices, workstations, network. So this is classification of computers. Coming to the applications of computers, there are applications it can be used for so many applications like word processing, internet, digital video or audio composition, desktop publishing, government administration, traffic control, legal system, retail business, sports, music, movies, travel, and tourism. Thank you.